Hi, everyone. This is Mark, and you are listening to the Ballpark Hunter podcast. I am the regional correspondent for the website Stadium Journey, the industry's leader in sports. Check us out at stadiumjourney.com. Well, with me today is the owner of the Western Nebraska Pioneers, Mr. Chuck Heeman. He's back with us for a second time. I think the last time I talked to you, it might have been with the North Plate team, and this time
Yep.
it's another new entity, and you're going to tell us
Yeah.
all about it. So, what is 2025 going to look like for you and your
Yep.
franchise?
Well, yeah, the Pioneers has been our base for 7 years now. So the North Platte team was a 2-year experiment. We're kind of down to that now. So what we're going to talk about today is the Front Range League. It's a league that we launched. It's kind of a consolidation among some teams that are in Colorado and Nebraska, and it came from though we kind of have gotten to know each other over the last couple of years. There's two separate leagues in this part of the world. There's the Rocky Mountain League and the Mile High League. And what you've got combinations of teams who do things different ways, and how they treat players and how their ballpark standards are and things like that. And I want to emphasize there's no right or wrong about that. There's just people do things different ways. There are many, many ways, and you know this from collegiate wood bat baseball. There are many levels of that. There are the your West Coast League, your Northwoods, and your Coastal Plains, the one that do the full blown fan experience with fans and sponsors and tickets and all that stuff. And there are levels that do it as more of a the players pay a fee, they come in, they play their games, they get their
Mhm.
experience, and they go home. So what we've had in these two leagues over the last years is a combination of those. So some of the teams in each league would do things one way, and some of them would do them the other way. So then when we recruit players to come to the Pioneers or the Foxes or Greeley or Boulder, you tell them that they're going to get this experience. So when they come to play the Pioneers, they're going to get a pregame meal, a postgame meal. They're going to have consistent umpiring, consistent field conditions, scoring. They're going to have their stats done for them. That's how you get players to come to you, because they're going to get that experience. So you do that. Then sometimes when they go on the road, they don't get that same experience.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know
So
what you
you'll
mean.
you'll go to a place, and again, there's no wrong way to do it, but it's a different experience. So it's not what you're telling your players that they're getting. So they're only getting a part. So over the course of the last couple of years, we all know each other in these two leagues. We play each other in non-league games, so we've gotten to know each other over the couple of years, and we've been talking for a few months now. It's like, why don't we form up this group of people who want to have those consistent standards and are willing to do that. And the people that are on and with doing it the different way, there's a place for them, and they'll be perfectly fine. Rocky Mountain League is going to be perfectly fine. Mile High is going to be perfectly fine without us in that, because
Okay.
they're doing fine. So that's kind of where this came from. It's like we want to make sure that our players, when they come to town and they spend 10 weeks with us, they get the experience that we're promising them. So that's kind of where it came from.
All right. So pretty much we're looking at the six teams, and of course, if people haven't heard, there's going to be Boulder Collegians, Colorado Springs Outlaws, Fort Collins Foxes, Greeley Grays, your club, and the Spradley Collegians.
Correct. Down
So
in Pueblo, yes.
down in Pueblo. So, you know, every stadium you go, you're going to have the same treatment, the same type of meal, the same type of atmosphere. I would assume from a ballpark perspective, all of these would be ballparks that the players are going to, not just city stadiums.
Yeah, correct. So the idea is to give them that experience.
Okay.
And again, everybody doesn't do things the same way. Greeley doesn't draw 1,000 people a game. We draw 1,000 people a game. The Foxes draw 700-800 a game. So, but the idea is when I send the Pioneers down to Pueblo, there's going to be some fans there. They're going to have music. They're going to have a scoreboard. They're going to have some atmosphere that's relatable to a minor league atmosphere. They're going to get fed. They're going to be taken care of. They're going to have water in the dugouts, things like that. So the idea is not everybody has to do things exactly the same
Okay.
way,
Yeah.
but you have to have certain standards in place as far as player treatment and how you run your game operation, how you run your ballpark.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I know there's been I've talked to other teams, and they're sort of the big shots in the league with their stadium, and they may host a few more games, but then when they go on the road, they may play 11 o'clock game on a Saturday in
With
in a
nobody
city
there.
park,
Right, right. And
which
maybe you have good umpires and maybe you don't. And maybe
yeah.
there's water in the dugout and maybe there's not. So while you're able to take care of your people very well, once you send them on the road, they don't get that same
Yeah.
experience. And of course, then they go back to their college coach and they say, "Hey, we went to this place and this happened." So then the college coaches call us up and say, "Hey, what's going on here?" So it affects everybody in that you want to have that professional operation and have good relationship with the college coaches that send you players every year. And so
Oh,
it's kind of born from that too. I had a college coach call me this summer and I said, "Hey, we love what you do. And I've known this guy for 15 years. It's like we love what you do, but I got to tell you, if you're going to send our guys to somewhere where they're not being taken care of, I'm not going to send you players anymore." So,
no.
and I get it. It's not personal, it's business. This is what they want their guys to experience when they send them away for the summer. Some of these schools that are in, California and Florida and Texas, they're sending their guys in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. They want them taken care of. So it all kind of grew from that among the group of us that have been talking for a couple of years. It's like, why don't we do this? And so the Front Range League was born out of that.
There is no ill will from the leagues that you're leaving. They understood, you
Oh
guys
yeah,
were
it's
working.
not, and again, it's exactly that. And I don't want to even give the impression that there is any because there's not. It's a different way of doing
Yeah.
things. Both of these leagues, Mile High and Rocky Mountain, they're going to be just fine. And there may be some consolidation there. I don't know. That's up to them.
Hmm.
But it wasn't like anybody got in a fight and we said, screw you guys, we're out of here, anything like that. It's just those of us that want to do it this way are doing this. Those of us that want to do it a different way are doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how it operates. I mean, I've talked to, there was a gentleman from the East Coast Collegiate Baseball League, and they sort of told me how they run things, and I'm like, okay, a little different than what maybe the Expedition League did at one point, or the Prospect League, and his
Yeah.
his goal was, this is what our goal is, and this is what we're happy with, and
Right.
so
Different people do things different ways. And there's no right or wrong. It's like,
yeah.
when a player wants to go play in a league, the player looks at, okay, what is this league? Okay, this works for me. Maybe they play 28 league games, or maybe they play 50 league games. Maybe they have a big travel footprint. Maybe they have a small. Maybe it's one of these leagues that all play in one ballpark. So when a player goes, there's different options for that player, and they have to decide what they want to do. When they come to us, they expect a certain level of that. So, we could be doing things at a higher level. We could take private jets to planes or to games or something. But when they come to us, they expect this. And when they don't get this consistently, it becomes an issue.
And word gets back to their prospective colleges.
And it's a very small world, and word and
Oh
word
yeah,
travels fast. Yep.
exactly. You want to be a reputable league where people are
Yep.
happy to send you. I
Yep.
had a conversation with a guest about sponsorship, and he was asking me which summer collegiate leagues, and this is before I found out about your league. He said, "Hey, what are the more reputable leagues I should talk to?" And to him, all the leagues look alike. He doesn't know that one league may operate in this form or another.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I
There are
gave
some
him,
leagues that don't even do sponsorships. It's just you're paying your fee and you go play.
yeah, no, and
Yeah.
and and for your league, and I have a lot of airplanes flying over right now. So if you hear that, that's feels like the last few podcasts. I've tried to mute that out, but when
You're
I'm
skipping a little
talking,
bit. Yeah.
there's always an airplane flying over. So,
Uh,
so from a player
I have a
perspective,
grand I have a granddaughter over here. I try to mute her out and it doesn't work. So
yeah,
yep.
yeah, that's what I tell people. Sometimes I talk to some folks with a podcast, they sound like they're coming from a radio station studio. God bless them, but I got to deal with airplanes and barking dogs. Depending on what day I'm doing it, I have kids outside playing in the cul-de-sac. Basement is nice to go to, but
Yeah.
then the reception down there stinks. So then I deal with that. Uh, yeah. So these teams that are joining you, a lot of them have a history. They're not brand new teams, correct? Like,
Correct. The only new team coming in is the Colorado Springs team. It's not the old Colorado Springs Outlaws that were in the Rocky Mountain League. It's actually a new team just happens to have the same name. So we're starting with 6 teams. I really anticipate us. I anticipate us being at 10 when we start the season. I
really
think
nice.
we'll grow to at least 8 here pretty quickly. We're talking to some other people, but we wanted to get this thing launched and show people we're doing it, and then we'll attract a couple more teams as we go along. We don't want to get this, you know, you never want to get too big too fast. I don't think
No.
we will. There's really not that many markets in our area. I think 10 to 12 is a very comfortable number. 10, I'd be very happy with if we went into the season with 10.
Yeah. And the team in Colorado, what ballpark are they playing out of?
The Colorado Springs team.
Yes. Yeah, Colorado Springs.
Oh, yeah. There's 2 fields that he's talking to. He's talking to the folks at Spurgeon, which is it's a city ballpark. It's a fairly nice facility. He's also talking to University of Colorado, Colorado Springs.
Okay.
So and I would say more than likely he'll end up at Colorado Springs at the university.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at those ballparks right now, and it's it's amazing. Colorado Springs has just maybe a couple ballparks that are ideal for this summer collegiate type of league. So it's you know you got
Not too big, not too small.
yeah, not too big.
They have dugouts, they have locker rooms. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. And then from a fan perspective, what can we expect when we come to a game? Is there going to be a lot of minor league influence, or is it
It depends
ticket
on where you go,
prices?
but there'll be some level of that everywhere you go. I mean, we've gone places where they don't even turn on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
We've gone places where they don't even chalk the field. So that's
Oh,
the part that we're going to eliminate. So
okay.
you'll
Nice.
have you'll have PA, you'll have music, you'll have scoreboard. Some people do giveaways during contests during games. Some people don't. I think as we go, we're going to build that fan experience with some of the people that don't do it that much. I know Boulder does a good job, so does Pueblo, and the Foxes do a great job. And of course, I'm pretty proud of what we do. So I
Yeah.
think as we kind of grow this thing, we'll pick each other's brains and see what we're able to do at our ballparks and build that up as much as we possibly can. And again, you want to give the player that minor league feel as much as you can. If they get drafted into the minors, this is what they're going to go into. So, and it's a more enjoyable time for the players. Their families come all from all over the country, and they don't want to just sit there in the sun and have nothing going on either. So, as we kind of build this thing, we're going to feed off each other and make it a more enjoyable experience for the fans.
Yeah. And I guess I can speak for you. Western Nebraska. How are things been out there? You were independent for a 1 year, and you keep
And
switching
and and
leagues.
that that was an interesting year. We learned a lot, and again,
Yeah.
we learned a lot about who does things one way, who does things the other. Um, Another thing about what we're doing here, one thing we found with the Rocky Mountain League is the players, um, they even though it's summer ball and they're not going to the College World Series, they want to play for something. They want to have a playoff. They want to have an all-star game. They want to have that experience too. And the Rocky Mountain League doesn't have that. They're tied in with the NBC in Wichita. A couple of teams go there, and you get to the end of the season, and you're just done, and you go home. Well, one of the things in the Front Range League, we are having an all-star game. We're having it at our place next summer. We are having a playoff series first weekend of August, and that's going to be the pattern. So what we found, and the Pioneers, we've been in a couple leagues trying to find that right fit. And a lot of it was travel related. We were taking buses all over the world for years and putting guys on buses for 10, 12, 14 hours at a time. Then we went independent for a year just to kind of see who's who. And now with the Rocky Mountain League, the travel footprint is pretty good, but then you get into that, what we had before. So as far as the Pioneers, we're doing just fine. We had a good year. It's the first year we've never had a rain out, so that's good.
That's huge.
We've set our I know the first year in 7 years with no rainouts. We set our single game attendance record 3 times this year. We had our second highest season attendance ever. Um, so we're doing just fine. So now we get into bringing back our fans expect playoff series. We're used to going to the playoffs. We've been to the playoffs, what 4 of our 7 years, won 2 championships. So people expect that. So it kind of getting back to the normal summer collegiate season that people expect. So that's we're doing fine.
Yeah, no, I've talked to a few teams that have gone independent, and they like the idea at first because they have a lot of freedom to do what they want. But you're right; they
Yeah,
want to join a league because they do want that playoffs. Their fans,
right,
want
right.
them to see win a championship and boast about it.
Yes.
So I'm
Yep,
with you
yep.
there. So like when you talk
And
about
and and
attendance,
you sometimes you don't really know when you go independent. You learn real fast who you're dealing with, who's reliable and who's going to call you the morning of a game and tell you they're not coming and things like that. So you learn that pretty quickly too. Yep.
yeah, no, that's it's
An
it's
interesting
amazing.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's amazing how you look at the history when it's all we can look back 10, 20 years from now and we can just see the pioneers how they went from one league to another, and
Yep.
hopefully this is your last stop, and this is the league you find a home in for
I think so. And I think,
the near
and
future.
and I've told a couple of people this, what it kind of comes down to, you want it done right, do it yourself. So those of us that walked into this thing with the Front Range League, that's what we want to do. It's like, okay, we've dealt with this and we've dealt with this and we've dealt with this for a number of years. Let's pull the trigger and do it ourselves and do it the right way. And it's summer ball. And no, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the teams that are in this league now are going to be in the league in 10 years. You never know.
Hmm.
But you do want to find some stability in that. Your fans start looking at you funny too. It's like you're in another league. And it's like, well, there's a reason for that.
Hmm.
But yeah, you do want to find that stability as well.
Yeah, but I mean, when it's all said and done, if they're entertained, if they're having a good time, if they're seeing winning baseball, for some of them,
Beer's cold, hot dogs are hot. Everybody's
yeah,
happy. Yep.
cold
Yeah.
cold beer. So all ballparks, I don't know if you can answer this, will have beer, alcohol, or is
I
that
don't know that.
okay?
I don't know
You
I know
guys
some
know.
do, some don't. I don't know the answer to that yet.
Yeah, and you guys have your own beer produced by a local brewery. Is that correct?
We do. You
Nice.
Flyover Brewery does a beer named after our mascot. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
it's common. I even saw that in Lake County, in
Okay.
the Lake County Corn Dogs. They used to be in the not Pioneer Northern League. They went independent, and
Yeah.
it's just is that an easy thing to do to get a local brewery to come in and slap a new label on, make a beer for you?
Not really, not
Okay,
really.
so
It's
very
it's
common.
they don't brew a different beer. They just take a beer that they're
Yeah.
already brewing, basically, and put the label on it. And it's it's good for them. It's good for us. And they've been Flyover's been a good partner with us, and it's a good promotion for them. We sell a lot of it. I'm surprised at how much of it we sell. So they
No,
like it.
that's even better if you're selling it. So,
Yeah. Oh
um,
yeah.
yeah. So anything else about, like, right now you have an off season, you have a true off season to start this whole new league. What are things you're working on? Are you looking to get staff for the front
Mhm.
office, marketing? How is that
Well,
looking?
we with the league, we are the front office.
Yeah.
The cool thing about a league is it's the teams that make the league. You know what I mean? So as far as the league office, the key is to pull things together, guide people, get them on the same page, and you know, I I this is my only job. My wife and I, this we don't have another job where we have to fit this in. This is all
Yeah.
we do. So we have the time to do that. So now that we've got this thing together, it's a matter of doing things like setting up a league store for merchandise, starting to work on the schedule. And some of us can schedule now, and some of us have to wait until the beginning of the year because they play at a field that's controlled by the city, so they have to work with that. So, but starting to form up that schedule, talking to teams that want to come and join us. We've already had a couple people feel us out about that. So we're going to vet those teams very carefully and make sure that they are going to be able to agree to our standards. Talking to people like you and getting some publicity for the league. But we wanted to get this thing launched at this time because this is when school's getting back in session. So all of our players, all of our potential players are going back to school now. All the coaches that we know that have talked to us about, hey, this is what we want to see. Well, now we're showing them that we're doing it. So now we can go to our coaches and say, okay, the things you've talked about to us for the last couple of years that need to be fixed. Now we're fixing it. So let's start getting players signed. Everybody's signing players already. I remember when we started doing college ball, my wife and I, like 15 years ago, you didn't even think about recruiting players till like Thanksgiving when fall ball was done. And now it's just an ongoing process. We've already got players coming back from last year. It never ends because there's so many leagues and so many teams. You've got to get ahead of people. So it's really a matter of getting our name out there, getting established, and then we start the process of the season. And really, again, the teams make the league. We play under the collective blanket of the Front Range League, but there's not there's always work. I hate to say there's not work because there is, but it's a matter of coordinating with everybody. So the teams contribute to everything. We tie it together and we get it out there.
What is right now with the six teams? What's the furthest drive? What's the average drive between these cities?
The furthest drive is from our place in Nebraska down to Pueblo. That's about a 5 to 5.5 hour drive.
Okay.
Fort Collins and Greeley are about 2 hours from us. So, and then Boulder's maybe three, Colorado Springs 3.5, Pueblo 5 tops.
Okay.
And I really don't see us getting out of that footprint. There's some markets in there. There's some areas in there in the Denver area that we're talking to that may join us. So I don't see us getting too far out of that footprint. If we play some non-league games against somebody, we want to be real careful about like we've had interest from the Kansas teams, Hayes and Liberal, about playing non-league games
Yes.
because they do go to NBC in Wichita. So, but they want to make a swing through. So I really don't see us getting much beyond that.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. You definitely don't
One
want.
of the reasons that we left,
Or,
one of the reasons that we left the Independence League was that the travel was just getting nuts for
okay.
people. So we don't want to get back into that situation. There's enough potential there. Like I say, if our vision is to have this thing at 10 to 12 teams and then be there and be happy with it, there's enough in that area to do that. Right up and down the I-25 in Colorado, there's a lot of nice ballparks and nice places to play. So that's kind of I don't see us getting into North Dakota or anything like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, kind of like the Northwoods League. Those guys are from Kokomo all the way out to the Dakotas.
Everywhere, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
And a lot of them don't even play each other because they're so far
no,
away.
no, you're right.
Yeah.
That one division doesn't like the Kokomo team doesn't play the Badland Big Sticks, which I think were in the same league as you as one time, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yep. The Sticks and Minot, they were in
why
the
not?
expedition at one point. Yeah. So, we don't want to get in that situation. I don't think we will. And I don't know if I even want to manage a situation
Oh
like
no,
that.
no,
I'm getting old. I'm running it down. I need to
yeah,
settle in and do this and be happy doing this. And then if we get too weird, my wife's going to get mad at me anyway. And who needs that?
yeah. You just want a nice ballpark and a ball team to operate and
Yeah, yeah. And
and
making sure everybody's treated well,
yeah,
making sure the other team shows up, making sure we meet our obligations and do what we say what we're going to do. You can get too big, and I'm just not that interested in that. And I don't think any of us are. None of us want to be jumping a bus and going to, Utah or anything like that. So
yeah. No, it gets crazy. We hear stories about guys on the road for you said what 12, 13 hours on a bus ride. That doesn't sound like
yeah.
fun, and
Well, in
that's not
the in
just one
the in
time.
the expedition in the expedition and Independence, we were on a bus to Caldwell, Idaho. It's a 16-hour bus ride. You have to do it over 2 days because the bus driver can't drive that far. They can only drive 8 hours a day. So you're taking a 2-day bus ride to go play some summer league games. And you can't do that to kids. You can't bring a kid
Yeah.
all the way all the way to Nebraska and then say, well, now you're going to go spend 2 days on a bus to play 3 games and 2 days coming back. So
Hmm.
we don't want to get in that situation. Like I say, right up and down the area we're at, right up and down the Denver, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, all up and down there. There's enough potential markets to where we could land at a nice 12-team league and just be happy with that.
Yeah. Well,
And just
that's
and really the more important thing is have those 12 teams or 10 teams, whatever it ends up being, do things the right way. And some people can and want to do that, and some people that's not what they want to do. So we want to make sure that the teams that we have are in that range where we can have these are the standards. When you come to play in our league, this is what you're going to get, no matter where you go. you may get steak and lobster at one place, you may get hot dogs in another place, but you're going to get fed
Mm-hmm.
everywhere you go. That kind of thing.
Oh
So
wow. Who's
kind of
serving
a
steak and is that what we get at Western Nebraska, steak and
why,
lobster?
yes, every day we fly them in from the coast, and
Oh my goodness.
but yeah, I wish we could, but it's that's it. It's like when you come to our league, you're going to get taken care of, and that's what we want to have.
Well, it sounds like a bright future here. We're definitely going to be keeping an eye on it. So, where can people get more information on the
Well, I appreciate it.
Range League?
Oh yeah, as we are, you know how we are. We get the
Yeah.
word out as soon as we have some word to get out. So we love we love the attention and appreciate the time with this. This helps a lot. So as we grow, I very much anticipate us being at 10 teams by the spring. So
Okay.
everybody will know about that and who's coming aboard.
Yeah, I mean we are really in the first few days of this league. It's
Oh, for sure. Oh, for
the
sure. Yeah.
egg just
Yeah.
cracked. So there'll be a
Yeah. What it
lot
looks
more.
like today is not what it's going to look like in 2 months. Right.
Yeah, a lot more to come. I'm sure we'll see, you said merchandise team stores with the league logo plus, a
Yep.
whole range of Pioneer merchandise, which
Oh, yes. Buy all the piles merchandise you can,
yeah,
please.
that,
Yes.
that does pretty well for you, correct? Across the country, people are picking up your caps and shirts.
I'm very, very surprised at the level of merchandise that we go through. It's usually in our business, merchandise is usually 10 or 15% of your income every year. And just that people are wearing our stuff it's very flattering. It's so we appreciate that.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, Chuck, I appreciate you coming back on and then talking about your new league. Where can people contact you if they want to get more info?
FrontRangeLeague.com. Our info is there. My office phone number is there. Our email's there. You can contact me through the Pioneers. I'm like Deion Sanders. It ain't hard to find me.
Yes.
So,
All right.
yep.
All right.
Always willing to talk to anybody about what we do. We love what we if we didn't love what we do, we wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
We go
no.
out and make some real money doing something else.
Oh
So
no,
yeah,
yeah. I gotta tell you, I think I contacted you yesterday, and we're on today doing
yeah.
the podcast. And there's people that I'm still
I
chasing
appreciate
down.
that.
Still,
There
I
you go.
appreciate you coming on. There's people I'm still chasing a year from now from small summer collegiate leagues. Yeah, we'll come on, and then
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
I hear nothing. I don't know what they're up to. They may have, like you said, they may have another job, and they just
Yeah,
don't have time.
and it happens a lot. But this is all we do, and we just launched this thing. We want people to know about it. So, I appreciate you reaching out, and again, glad to do it anytime.
All right. Well, I'm sure a few other guys will reach out to you as well. So.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely,
we'll
glad to
uh
do it.
we'll listen and maybe I could finally make it out to one of these games, Colorado Springs or Western Nebraska.
Yeah.
Some
I
of these
know where
things.
I know where you can get a ticket. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Some of these I mark these trips sometimes and it's like, okay, another
yeah.
summer. You didn't do what you said you were gonna do. So we'll have to plan. We'll I'll start planning pretty soon when you get that schedule up.
There you go. We'll get it going.
All right, thank you. All right, that was Chuck Heeman, and that's the second time he's been on the show. Like I said, the first time I think they were part of the expedition, not the were they part of the Expedition League or was it the Independence Baseball League? And he was talking about his North Platte team, the Plainsmen, which I think was resurrected in the Independence Baseball League. So the Front Range League, whenever I hear a new league, and that happens a lot, you hear about one second. You hear, a group of teams getting together, like the East Coast Baseball League, got together teams from the Atlantic Coast Baseball League, and they made their own league. And then, we heard the Independence League a few years ago, and the Expedition League was something new. And there's a league out in Maine. I mean, there's so many summer collegiate league teams, and some of us go to these ballparks, and we notice things. If we go to a summer collegiate league team, and there's 5 people in the stadium and there's nobody taking tickets because there's no staff there, there's no music, there may be a PA guy, the scoreboard isn't working, there's no food there. You start noticing like, man, this is kind of a drab. And what he says the Front Rage League is that you're going to have alcohol uh, at his ballpark. He doesn't know about every other place, but there's going to be food. There's going to be some minor league type of atmosphere, and you just want to be on board with that. And this is this second time I've talked to somebody that's involved with the summer collegiate league team that has told me about how you run your program and how you run your operation affects some of the players coming in from some of these universities and colleges across the country. So that is Chuck Heeman, who's had a long history in minor and summer collegiate league. We can get him on 5 times, and we'll have a totally different conversation each time. So glad that he was able to come on here. Like I said, I texted him, I emailed him yesterday, or an hour later. He's like, "Yeah, I'll do it. When do you want to do it?" I'm like, "How about tomorrow, 4:30?" He's like, "Okay, there you go." And I have teams that don't even write back to me. They just don't want to talk to me. I don't know. Maybe I tick them off or something. I don't know. I'm just a ballpark guy. Give me a break. I'm a teacher who goes to baseball stadiums during the summer and puts them on YouTube. Um, you know, but anyway, so all right. Well, Chuck, thank you for coming on. Best of luck to the Front Range League. More information coming out. Like I said, we are in the first few days of this league. It's not even a week old. He said there may be 2 to 4 more teams joining. So by the time their schedule's made and by the time you're out there at a ballpark in the summer of 2025 watching it, there could be some more teams there. So sounds like Denver, Fort Collins is a cool place to be. I think Paul Caputo might be a little busy this year checking out some baseball games, and hopefully they'll have those ice cream caps those ice cream helmets that he likes. So anyway, thank you guys for listening to the Ballpark Hunter podcast. This is Mark Viquez saying, follow me, Twitter, YouTube. Follow me on StadiumJourney.com, the industry's leader in sports stadium reviews. And as always, stay safe. Check out a ballpark near you, and happy hunting. We'll talk to you soon.